You can use the air horn. Thanks.
Actually, we got questions, right? Have we got all the questions up and stuff?
We got all the questions. G'day everyone. Welcome to the Hidden City Rollers Derby once more. I don't know what episode number this is, but we're here. I'm your host, Simcof.
Super lo-fi today. Super
Mate,
lo-fi.
Look, we promise lo-fi, we give you lo-fi. And we've got actually a decent crew here today, man. That's we got our champion Merlin. So,
what up? Good to be called the champion. Yeah.
The champion of mats.
It's the first time for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got Enzi, who's just hot off a second place tournament in a huge 8-player tournament. Sup, man?
I believe I got third, actually.
Third. I apologize.
Well, third is just the second after first. I mean,
Oh, that's true.
So top 8,
There we
right?
go. Diminishing
Top 8,
returns.
top 8 in an 8-player tournament.
Wow.
Sick, bro.
That's how I roll.
and I think
right.
I have no. Where in the world are you today, Enzi? Which part of the outback? Oh, sorry, Glen.
No. I'm the one who just lives in his apartment.
You live in your apartment. I think we do have somebody in the country, right? Though. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, I think I'm near Wangaratta at the moment. For those of you who don't know, that's in the northeast from Melbourne. And I thought my intro would be, does this guy play this game anymore? Glen Saywood, welcome to the podcast.
You know who does this guy play the game anymore is Bert, right? Shout out to Bert, wherever you are.
Oh yeah,
Shout out to Toreadory, who's going to Worlds in a few months. He's really looking forward to. Sorry,
He's
I
really
missed
looking
that.
forward to the Hawthorn Richmond game tonight, apparently.
I seen the season closer for the the Hawthorn Hawks, who were about to lose their final. And the game
He's
hasn't
getting some
started.
animal inspiration so he can decide which clan he's playing for Worlds.
Sorry, is this a card game that I
What,
don't
yellow
know
or
about?
yellow? So he's playing Lion.
Playing
I
Lion.
thought the Hawthorn might be the Hawks for our international listeners, and so he could be playing the new Crane dual deck that has yet to be discovered.
Right.
There are cards there. No, for sure. I think that the last time Toreadory played L5R is, I think, Pack 6 of Arc 1 was out, but I don't think he's tried the Phoenix pack yet, so it'll be interesting when he finally gets back into the game. Yeah.
He's going to learn that Tadaka is just amazing.
Tadaka is bonkers.
Actually, I can give you guys a news update on the when did Toreadory last play the game front. He did play me the other night, and I did play Kikuyo again against him, and he got tilted again. So, for, again, our international listeners out there, Splash Scorpion, cancel some spells that he likes to play, and you'll be on your way to picking a role that we all get to enjoy or rebel against for 8 months.
Mate, he's not the only one that gets tilted by Kikuyo, man.
I do love in Jikiko. My favorite words in Jikiko are like when they read Kikyo and they've just played consumed by 5 fires in a conflict and they realize they didn't need to.
Brilliant.
Yeah, cool. So, there's been a bunch of news that we vaguely care about. How on a like excitement scale of like Jeffrey Boycott to Nicolas Cage, where are we on art sleeves that look exactly like the back of Dynasty cards and conflict cards?
Dude, my excitement is unlimited. Unfucking limited.
Are you like
I don't know what it
beyond Nicolas
means,
Cage?
but that's where I'm at.
Unlimited.
I thought I misread the article. Like I thought they were showing us. I was like, "What this beautiful art with?" But then it dawned on me that I'm covering the beautiful art that I got with all the hard money that I spent on these cards by having to spend more money on the same art just so that it's tournament legal.
It's the definition
Here,
of taking
both
the
here in
piss,
Australia
right?
and at Worlds. No, it's the definition. It's the definition of complimenting an artist's artwork. It wasn't good enough that it was on the back of the card. You need it on the back of the sleeve as well.
Well, at least the sleeves are tournament legal. At least there's that.
Yeah, well, shout out to the artists of those card backs. They are beautiful works of art. And thank you, FFG, for ensuring that my money goes where it should be going, which is to card sleeves rather than new cards. So I think everyone wins on this front moving forward.
Yeah. Hey, so there was a cool thing, though. Yeah?
What's the cool thing? I'd rather hear about the cool thing.
The World's promo got announced. Did you see that? Backhanded compliment. Brilliant.
Yep.
It's kind of lucky that Scorpion got a keeper role, and because it was getting to the stage where that could have been offered, and Scorpion weren't going to be able to play that card.
Yeah.
Do you get extra points at Worlds for winning by dishonor with the new Scorp deck by playing backhanded compliment? That's full art. You're like, I'm going to give you a full backhanded compliment this time. Is there a bit of extra points that goes along there?
Did you guys see that thread on Facebook from Brad? It was like, is this a joke? Like,
yeah.
Am I being trolled?
FFG know how to pick their promo cards, right? I definitely want to be spending 150 USD to get a full play set of these. Just because they look great. Not really. I just think it's great for those that get to go to Worlds. It's unfortunate that the card that they get to pick has some sort of lock on it. For instance, it has a roll lock. And so it's just another reminder that you know that this game likes to restrict your deck building, even when you're given the promo card.
Well, I'm going to play Glen's advocate on this one, right? I feel like if it was Banzai, which we are luckily getting in the, I think, Season 4 pack or whatever, right? Or if it was Banzai or if it was Court Games, I feel like you would still complain because you'd say only the people that get to go to Worlds get to, get Court Games promos. Yeah,
but that's a deserving, that's what you get for traveling to the middle of nowhere to play a card game that you enjoy.
That's true.
I think something like Imperial Palace, or even just something that's kind of more ubiquitous would be a better prize, perhaps. But it is just the attendance promo.
I think Palace would have been a great choice.
Yeah, but
it's got to be a Scorpion card there.
I hope that the World promo announcement entices more people to go to Worlds.
You guys reckon it's going to be as big this year?
What's that one?
You guys reckon it'll be as big this year as it was last year?
How many were there last year?
Well, I think there were over 500. I want to say 500. There were 2 days. No, there were three day ones. I might be wrong on those.
There's 2 day ones this time.
Yeah, I'm assuming day ones are 250. But
wow,
it was pretty big.
I didn't think it was going to be that big. That's huge. I mean, it was that was first release, first year of the release, so that was always going to be big. You get the hype cycle of the new game, the returning game.
How big was? I hope it takes off. It would be nice to see if the game is stabilized or growing. Yeah, I mean, the more people that go, the better, really. But
yeah, for sure.
It'd be good to see. I know at least there's some Australian representation going.
Yeah.
So,
is that you, Glen?
Sorry, is that me?
Is it
unfortunately, I won't be representing. I decided that because I have exams, I won't be able to go. But you'll have the better players from Australia going to represent, which is what you want.
Yeah.
Want
it's a shame
people
you
to know
can't
what's going
to
on.
somebody else.
Can I do that? It'd be nice. That'd be good.
Well, if you register, you can give somebody a complimentary ticket. So there could be a loophole there where you could, I don't know. Oh, let's not advertise that on air.
Yeah, don't say it. Now that you've said it, we can't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Worlds will be really exciting for everyone, though. I think. I wonder if there'll be a multiplayer side event. I don't know if they've announced this sort of stuff yet, but it'd be cool to see if they do push side events and what they entail.
Yeah, they definitely do. Like, I heard it on a podcast around this time last week. I can't remember the name of it. They were talking about like side events and stuff for Worlds, for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of OP events, what do you guys have you guys seen the recently announced Kickstarter for the Proving Grounds? I think it's called.
Yeah, that sounded super cool.
That looks really good.
Do we know if that was the thing that KP was talking about?
I don't know.
I don't believe so. I think it's Trevor Holmes, I believe is his name. He's someone out of the US who is trying to create a way to engage game stores at a local level to get players to come in and regularly win and play games for some really cool third-party prize support. So yeah, there's a Kickstarter up if anyone's interested, and I think it's a really good way to engage the community further. I'm yet to see how you can get game stores and FFG to all be alongside with it, but it'd be nice to see where it takes off, if it helps.
I think it's going to be really cool. I think actually we were going to have a look into it to see if we could get some of the stores over here to get involved. It'll depend on shipping, as everything does in Australia, but yeah.
I think it's strange one in Australia. There's some states that, I think this could work well in. Melbourne's an interesting one where we live, Victoria, state of Victoria, because we have many gaming stores. And as it is, there's so many L5R events on, like, just every weekend there's multiple. Like, this weekend there's a clash between two events on the Saturday. So, be interesting to see where they slot in. I guess if there's a gap between, OP price support. But I love to see any community involvement because it means that people are active and they're engaged, and it means the game gets bigger.
Yeah, I think we're actually pretty lucky over here. I don't know how many regions or cities actually have more than one game store that they can go to. We've got like 7, right?
We're spoiled.
Awesome.
We live in like L5R Shangri-La.
It's so good.
I wonder if Shangri-La has a good L5R scene.
I've been to Shangri-La.
Did you play L5R
there? No.
What were you doing?
I think that was it wasn't pre L5R, but I guess it just was during the down period.
It's been a few. It's been around for a long time, that game, right?
I hear. Yeah. My entire house is a goddamn shrine to L5R.
Oh, good. All right.
Maybe Merlin's just sitting on a mountaintop, and he's like, "Please bring a second edition of this game, please." Oh my gosh, I need a second edition of this game. And then lo and behold, you get the FFG edition. Little did you know, though, that they'd bring Hawk Tattoo into the meta.
The cards are on right now.
Little did you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't think anybody expected Hawk Tattoo.
According to the interview that went up yesterday, I don't think Tyler expected it either. So
What was the
I think
interview
everyone's
yesterday?
surprised by that card. It was on one of the websites. Just a discussion between Tyler. Yeah, it was just a really good insight into card design, how things have been working behind the scenes. That Tyler's really, kind of taken over now from the end of the second cycle, moving forward, with Brad working on the side. But also that because he had to focus on the unicorn cards, that cards such as Hawk Tattoo kind of slipped through.
Does he actually mention Hawk Tattoo?
Yeah, there's like a brief conversation about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
he says it was the biggest miss.
Yeah, so it sounds like I'm just glad that it's good feedback to FFG that sounds like they are listening. Sounds like even if they don't work as fast as we would like, they do want to put solutions in place, and they are aware of what the current meta and the strengths and weaknesses where they're at. So yeah, I think it's all great all around, really.
Yeah, I think sometimes we cry out for like instant reaction to cards we think are OP. Is, you know, in games I've played where that is a thing that happens, and you do have like, you know, almost daily errata and changes in cards, it creates a very volatile environment. And you don't really get a chance for the environment to kind of, you know, you don't get to play in a specific environment. You know, your environment, your meta, you've got like micro metas that last a week until, you know, cards get changed. And, you know, I know that, yeah.
I kind of like that, actually. I was in Hong Kong recently playing against some of those guys, and I was talking to them. I play Shrine Maiden, but when they looked through my deck and they saw Shrine Maiden, they're like, no, we use Oracle of Stone for the same reason. I'm like, because you can pick up cards that are not just spells. You can pick up, you know, your charges and your let goes and stuff like that Shrine Maiden just loves to put into the fucking discard pile.
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's interesting.
You know, I'm really loving Oracle of Stone. I think, unfortunately, that card at some point will be broken and get nerfed. At the moment, it's not at the, like, it's not breaking decks. But I think that, like, within Phoenix, obviously it makes Tadaka better, and then Tadaka's, you know, already one of the best sort of, you know, just walking nuclear missiles that that Phoenix have. It's just this incredible, you know, incredible weapon, you know, incredible piece of artillery.
I tell you what, I actually found a better version of Tadaka as well. I got a Chinese version of Tadaka, all right? So now only I know what he does, right? That's going to be my secret weapon. It's going to be my secret weapon going into Worlds. Yeah. Sit down against my opponent. I'll have like a mix of like Spanish cards and English cards and Chinese cards.
Oh, shit. So has anyone like been playing any competitive L5R lately? Do you want to? What was your sweet tournament that you went to, Enzi, that you top 8 in?
Oh, what was it? It was just some league night, whatever. I think it was half Phoenix players, good meta, and 2 Scorpion, 1 Dragon, and 1 Lion. So, yeah, good times. But yeah, I've been playing some competitive L5R. I'm really liking Unicorn. I'm playing against Unicorn because I'm testing for the World Cup. But yeah, but I've noticed Unicorn's very good now. Shitomi encampment is amazing. Thanks for schooling me, Glen. Yeah, what else has been good? I mean, obviously Hawk Tattoo's fantastic. But yeah, I think Unicorn are the proverbial dark horse here, and I think that, you know, at Worlds, I think they're gonna surprise a few people. I'm not saying they're gonna win. I'm just saying they're gonna surprise. They might off a few people who don't see them coming.
So, I got a bit of a question. Like, World Cup has just started, so time of recording, week 1 is well underway. There's a bunch of games going on, and we've had. We do need a few more casters, I think. There's a few people that have just been pulling, like, I think Mind's Desire and I think P Mittens and a few others, and Krytos are just like casting all the games. There's a lot of them. But I was just looking through the teams. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look through all the different countries and what their deck spreads are. But, there's a theme. There's definitely a trend. Almost
there's
everybody...
definitely a lot of Dragon.
Yeah. Dragon, Phoenix, and Scorpion seems to be the standard lineup. But there are a few brave countries who just dismiss Dragon. Like, that's interesting. Like, I look at Brazil, they've gone Lion, Crane, and Crab. What do we think about that lineup?
I think it sounds
Lion,
perfectly
Crane,
fine.
Crab.
It's always been the case that player skill is like the deciding factor, right?
Oh, 100%.
So I think if are good, that can totally work.
Well, I think the thing as well, sometimes there's an advantage where, say, for example, there's very, very few lion decks, right? Like, lions can, in this World Cup meta, right? So it's, and I think a lot of the people that have, including myself, when we were kind of like forming decks, is we weren't really counting on encountering lion opponents, right? So we weren't, thinking about how we were going to deal with that sort of deck with, like, whether it's the, lion HMT, mega aggro deck, right? And so our decks are probably a little bit slower, right? So potentially sometimes there's an advantage in, like, going against the grain and picking that, like, off meta deck.
Yeah. I kind of feel like... You go ahead, bud.
I also just think that, as Merlin was saying, like, if the player that's...
You're breaking up a bit, mate.
Whatever I was saying, it was like garbled. I don't know.
It's just garbled and stuff, unfortunately. So we'll get back to Glen when he's got a bit of better reception. We had some feedback last time. Apparently, it was a bit tricky with the shitty Glen reception. Did anyone, Merlin or Enzi, did you have thoughts on, like, the makeup and the composition of some of these teams? Do you think there's a way to construct a team that would be, best versus the field?
I don't know. I think, if I understand the format correctly, you actually have sort of an A, a B, and a C. Actually, you guys would know. You're bloody in it.
Yeah.
Why am I explaining the format? You're in it.
Well,
anyway.
Bert, we forced Toreadory to do all the work.
Yeah.
So,
I see.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's not playing as much.
Yeah, he's going to carry us, right?
Yeah, I think because of that, because you're going like A versus A, and there was no way to know that matchup was going to be like. I'm not sure that your clan makeup actually matters because those three clans they're not interacting with each other. I do wonder though. I do wonder about like when it exits the group stage and goes into a single elimination bracket. Maybe there's something there, right? Like maybe if you can get out of the group stage, then your decks you select 3 decks that are very wide. What do you call it? Widespread.
Like they can handle a lot of variance on the part of the opponent.
Yeah.
So I think Glen's joined us again.
Sorry, guys. No, my point was just a very quick one. Was that we've seen in our local meta as well that players that play just the one clan and get really good at like their clan and their play style and know their clan and deck inside and out will often do better than the player that seems to go for the jack of all trades. Like for instance, if I got given a dragon deck or a lion deck that's aggro or a unicorn deck that's aggro, I'm probably not going to play as well just because I'm not very good at that sort of deck as opposed to playing like a very control-orientated crab deck or something like that. So that can be a huge difference too. That's all I was going to say. I'm really excited by what everyone is bringing. I've played the Canadians uploaded their decks onto 5 Rings. And I played a bit of the Crane deck, and it was heaps of fun. And it was just really cool to play Crane again and feel like it was quite strong.
I think 2 cards have really changed Crane's fortunes. I think that Magistrate Station is such a fantastic card. The ability to straighten your guy or straighten any of your honored folk when even regardless of whether you're in a conflict, which is I think will lead on to a discussion we'll have in a moment. But then also Soul Beyond Reproach. Like I just feel like Crane has so much play to it now. I feel that Guest of Honor is still like a hardcore NPE card, like negative play experience card. But it does the job. It's very, very competitive. If you're in that ultra competitive space, I think they're good now. You having fun with them, were you, Glen?
Yeah, I think I just really enjoyed that. They actually felt a bit like Scorpion in that I felt very much in control of the game. I felt like I was dictating a lot of the decisions being made, simply because my cards allowed for control of events, control of province activations, and control of attachments with Scorpion Splash.
Yeah. And
then there was the added value of being able to unbow, which just felt really good. Yeah, you really want them to hit your magistration early when you can like overcommit on the defense to like keep it, and then from there on you can kind of just steamroll because you always have the honored character in play.
Do you know, I really feel like the Magistrate Station, they worked out that they weren't going to give Crane a new stronghold in the coming, in that arc, right? And potentially not in the Scorpion pack. We don't know for sure, but potentially not. So I feel like the Magistrate Station was a good substitute. Like, they don't really have a stronghold yet, but Magistrate Station is like close to a stronghold. Like, that's what you wanted. You'd love to see that ability on a stronghold, right?
Yeah, I mean, based on what they're doing, I guess we'll get the Crane pack probably March, maybe April next year.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah.
It definitely, again, it feels like, I mean, Lion almost got there, but it feels like Crane got enough cards to kind of enter the meta again.
Yeah.
In a way where I felt very much like they're very strong now.
So, I
think every clan's quite strong. I just think Lion are a little bit behind just because they didn't get as much in this previous cycle.
Let's. I just think it might be an idea
have a really good matchup.
Yeah, no, they just don't.
They just don't. Okay.
Yeah, I just think we could quickly cover, because it'd be fun to, each week let's just check in with the World Cup, see how it's progressing. So we're on week 1 at the moment, and so we're at the group stage. So we've got like 6 groups, and each of the groups has 4 teams. So 6 4s are 24. Wow, there's that many countries in here. That's really cool. Good participation.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Huge props to the organisers. This is a bloody great idea.
It's fantastic. Love it. So we got Group 1, Brazil versus Sweden. And we've actually had 2 matches so far. And so far it's 2-0 to the Swedes, with Unicorn edging out Lion and Crane winning in a civil war. I'd love to see, now, World Cup, which is theoretically, pretty high level of play. And Unicorn's in there. Somebody selected it. This guy, Dirty Deeds. I won't read out his rest of his Discord tag. You can go online to see it. But Dirty Deeds just ran over Emrano from Brazil. And with his Unicorn. He's chosen Unicorn. He's won with it. So I love that. And, I know that, not that long ago, we were just laughing very hard at Uni. Of the other games that have happened, Group 2's wrapped up, right? Like, it's week 1. Netherlands just 3-0 Malta. They just ran over the top of Malta. Their Scorp beat Dragon, their Crane beat the Crane Mirror, and their Crab beat Scorpion. So, I'm feeling for Franco Pizzato, who played the Scorpion that was beaten by Dizzy Drone. I've been there, man. Still feel it. Love you, Glen. Yeah, so, I mean, Netherlands looking super strong, 3-0, very strong result. And then Greece ran over the top of Chile. No, I actually watched the Demagogue Phoenix game versus the Lion game. It was an amazing game. And the other game that I saw that I thought was just, super, super exciting was Group 3. So, Cyprus, Bill managed to... Well, spoiler alert. Bill... Yeah, managed to just edge out Widewood. Now, both of those players are phenomenal players, right? They're both... Widewood's won, I think, 2 of the Discord Cups, or if not, he's always... He's a beast, right?
He's a multi-champion, yeah.
He's a beast. And Bill's Kirill Army's always up there, and he's always dominating whatever tournaments he's in, and he's an incredible innovator. And, his deck, he was running the Lion Splash, and he's running Strength of My Ancestors. And, Phoenix running Strength of My Ancestors, and that's a great innovation. I don't think that was the first thing people thought about when, in this latest arc, they went, Struth, got to be running Strength of My Ancestors. You're the Phoenix resident Phoenix expert here, Merlin. What did you think about Bill's deck? I don't know if you had a look at it.
I fell in love with that deck the first time I saw it. It was a while ago. This deck is now starting to sort of come into like the global meta. But yeah, I was on Q and I saw that him and Demagogue had been playing a game, and one of them had Unicorn Splash and the other one had Lion Splash, and both of the decks just looked insane. I've tried playing that deck and I love it when I play it. Like it's a lot of fun to play. And it does really well, but it has some fairly major drawbacks, right? So you can obviously assassinate the really low Shigenja. I never felt like I had enough Shigenja in play that I could sort of do multiple attacks and things like that with confidence. And it sort of folds to bow tech as well, right? So you need your clarity of purposes to avoid that. And it doesn't handle attachments very well. So it's got a couple of drawbacks. But I don't know how Bill does it. He just makes it work every single time I've seen him play it. I'm in love.
Yeah. So
if I was a Boulder man, I would take that to World.
I love it. Yeah. So not much has happened with Canada and England. Group 4, one game between USA and Hungary, with Grabero 1 from Hungary just taking it to Bill Jr. So USA, you've got some work to do. Calling you out right now. Like, Bill Jr. is he's a fantastic Lion player, but it turns out as a Dragon player, when you put him on the world stage, he's a fantastic Lion player. And we've also got Singapore versus Indonesia. Singapore 3-0'd Indo. Wow. So Crab beat Crane, their Dragon beat Crab, and they won in a Scorpion Mirror. They've got a pretty strong team. Like, they've got Nix, who's always up there. So it's kind of fun to see these people that you see in always up there on the Discord League now in their representative, putting on their rep Guernseys, going at it country by country. And we haven't had the only other major amount of games we've had so far at this sort of midpoint in the week was in Group 6, France versus Philippines. Interestingly, we had Shoot, great Crane player, managed to edge out L5 Fiber, and that's a VOD that you can go and watch as well. I'd recommend watching some of these VODs because this is really great, top level play, and you're starting to see, what does the meta look like now, and it is a lot more varied than I think we've seen before. I think we've got one very boring Dragon deck that's sitting right up the top, miles above everybody else. But apart from that, there's a lot of variation. Like, even within, say, Scorpion, there's 10 different ways of doing it. Crane's got a number of variations. Even Crab, we're starting to see them splash something that's not Unicorn. It's hard for them to do that, but they're doing it. Yeah. So, but yeah, France are currently 2-1 to the Philippines. And Yoda Sensei was playing Phoenix, and he actually managed to beat Purple Potato, who's a pretty good crab player. I've had a few losses to him on competitive games on Jigaku. What are you guys thinking about the World Cup? Do you enjoying the coverage so far? Is it building a bit of buzz? You think it's a good thing that we're doing it?
Where's the best place to find the coverage? I think listeners might like to know that.
Yeah, so we'll actually put in the pod notes some links. You can go to Mind Desire's YouTube channel, and there's somebody, and I don't know offhand who it is, but there's somebody who's putting together a playlist. So I'll figure out who that is, and we'll chuck it up in the notes of the pod there, so you'll be able to click on it. But there's it's pretty good coverage, and it's a great. Yeah, sorry.
I was just thinking. I think it's just a great way to learn more about the game, but also just see how different metas go about deck building, and then piloting those decks. It's just great to see that from different parts of the world, people do play and bring different things to the table because that's what they're comfortable with or that's what they know. And it just can often open your eyes to a different sort of strategy or deck building approach that you may not have seen before, rather than just net deck the staples that have been proven beforehand.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I just noticed. I don't think Ireland's got a team here. Is that right? No Irish team.
There is Wales.
There is Wales, and Mark Armitage is in the Wales team, even though he lives in the US.
Yeah. Is he a dual citizen? Is he like one of those soccer players who football players? Because we do have a world audience. One of those football players who represents a different country to where he lives.
He might be. He might. What do you call those? Yeah. Ringers, right? He's ringers. Like the guy that you get in on your team.
Ringer.
Yeah. Like myself.
But I'm very surprised. Very surprised there's no Irish team.
Hey, that is true. Like, technically, Enzi could have qualified for Canada. Hey, what do you think of the Canadian team? Do you know Afraidy, Nivik?
I like the Canadian team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Aaron Freed is a good mate of mine. He's an old Dragon player from the old game. Huge dude, got sweet tattoos actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, and he's good. Like he cleaned up in the Canadian qualifiers, so watch out for him. Kevin Nivek, he is actually a Scorpion player, and he did very, very well at was it the Seattle Kotai, or was it? Yeah, I think it was Seattle. He did very well. And yeah, he's a Scorpion player. He's playing Crane, but he'll do fine. I think Byron Crane must be a kind of standalone, less versatile, like I play Scorpion type player. And that's probably how they came to that, because Kevin generally plays Scorpion. I haven't been able to look at the decks because this one might be working.
5 rings is down. 5 rings DB is down at the time of recording. Down. We might have to hand out a tray, collect some coins, see if we can get it up and running.
Yeah, the Crane deck that Kevin's playing looks very similar to the one that Gnimsh from Poland is playing, that I'm playing against this week. So that'll be interesting. And the Scorpion deck is down. So, yeah, yay for Bushi Builder, I guess. But otherwise, I don't really know anyone on the English team. Other than I know Action Johnny's good.
We should start a GoFundMe for 5 Rings DB.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll sell Save 5 Rings DB T-shirts. $2
I think seriously though, there is a donate page for 5 Rings.
So well, there you go.
If people do want to support it, I think there is an official way to do so. And even just like $1 or $2 just helps pay for the server costs.
If every listener here donated $1, there'd be at least $4 for 5 Rings to be.
Yeah, goes a lot away. $4 can feed a website in need.
But yeah, look, you know what?
Right.
Is if you could afford $1, donate $1 to 5 Rings DB, because you know what? I've certainly got more than $1 worth of value out of that website, and I feel like $1 seems pretty good.
Is it tax deductible? I'm only doing it if it's tax deductible.
I don't think it's tax deductible. Don't count on that. Check with your accountant. Over $1.
Yeah. Well, it depends which.
Check with your Wily trader. Is the L5R? Is the L5R?
Check with your local Wily trader.
You need, if you're going to be on the podcast, you need to be able to at least stick within the world of Rokugan, I feel.
Talk to the Yasuki.
Didn't we have a listener question about that?
We did, and we might get to those listener questions in a moment. I think we just round out this World Cup coverage. We do have the Australia versus Poland matches upcoming. I guess my heritage is Polish, but I'm playing for Australia, so I don't know how I feel about this. But there's some pretty exciting games. Like the game that I'm kind of looking out for is Bertie, so Toreadory, our fellow roller, is playing Dragon, because we gave him the most OP deck when we kind of had our discussion. We're like, all right, you're our best player, play our best deck. Right? And he's playing against QQ, who's also playing Dragon, and QQ was the winner of the most recent Discord Cup, like I think Season 8 Discord Cup. So I think that's going to be a bottler of a game. So Merlin may be casting it. Hopefully we'll have somebody from Poland as well. So stay tuned for that one later in the week, because I think that's going to be an amazing game. And Enzi's Phoenix vs Crane game, Enzi vs Nimsh, that's going to be a bottler as well. And then you can watch Scorpion vs Scorpion and see people trade on it. And probably won't be as exciting.
Can you cast your own game?
I should cast my own game.
Yeah, you should put your own commentary while you're playing. See if you can still
Pretty
make
sure.
it through in time.
It would just be me swearing a lot every time I make a misplay.
Oh my goodness, I would, yeah, I'd probably pay to watch that actually. Like...
All right.
What's the internet connection like at your place, Enzi? Like if you played on the balcony, I'll cast it from your lounge room. How's that?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, we'll make something happen.
I don't know. I think Bill Kurlisami sort of tested the waters with regard to casting one's own game, or the game being on in the same household that it's being played from, and it didn't. I don't think it went down well.
No, there's a bit of controversy there. My take from that was that you know what, Mine's Desire I think went away and talked to some of the admins, and they made their call on what was going to happen there. And those admins, they're very, very straight down the line. So whatever ruling they came up with, I think, I was happy with, and they gave Bill the win. It was an amazing game, and Bill's he's a pretty straight up guy. So whatever the admins came up with, I was happy with the way that they went there.
Yep.
Cool. So there were a few listener questions which we should get to. Okay, Glen, mate, you still with us?
Yep.
All right, we got one. We got one for you, right off the top. This one's from Toreadory, who's currently watching his football team lose. Question for Glen: which card from the Elemental Cycle is the healthiest for the meta, and why is that Hawk Tattoo?
Well, he's asked me an oxymoron.
Have more faith in yourself than that, mate.
I think whenever you're asked a question by a player that hasn't played the game for about 3 months, you should always just reflect and just discuss what a healthy meta is. Is a healthy meta where when everyone splashes a certain clan and they include a certain card, is that best for the meta? Is that what is healthy for the players at large and for local communities? Is it healthy for my blood pressure when I get Hawk tattooed by a player 3 times when they've only drawn 8 cards in the game? Is that a healthy meta? My answer would be, I don't think Hawk Tattoo is the card that makes the meta healthy at the moment. I actually think a card that may be making the meta quite healthy is probably. I feel like I haven't played much lately, but I feel like from my perspective, I'd say it's just the Shinjo encampment or whatever it is. Just being able to have Unicorn feel incredibly threatening when you're opposed to them has redefined how I've deck built nearly every other clan. Because I know that there is potential for an aggro matchup that is quite strong.
Yeah, you know what? I really do agree with you, Glenn. And probably building on that. That would be my answer. Yeah, like Shitomi Encampment as well as Magistrate Station. I feel like they've gained a bit of turf back. There was a big gap between, Dragon and Crane, and then there was obviously a giant valley. There was probably oceans between Dragon and Unicorn, and Shitomi Camp, single-handedly bought them, a little bit of the way there, like a fair chunk of the way there. So I think both those cards have made the game a lot more interesting, a lot more competitive for other players.
I guess it's similar to how, to expand, it's similar to how Tadaka kind of changed how you built your conflict deck.
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
No longer could you really run 3-ofs if you felt like you were going to verse a lot of Phoenix players. And so, yeah, it's just great to have to reflect on how you build your dynasty deck, as well as how greedy do you go with how tall do you take your character. So, yeah, I think those sort of cards are what make the meta healthy, more so than a card that has a harpoon effect that thematically makes no sense and is just too effective for what it does. I'd also like to say that in future, if listeners can write questions that are questions rather than already providing answers, I'll be more than happy to provide answers to those questions.
Are you saying
Mate,
that
you
Mr.
just-
Toreadory should go back under the bridge where all trolls live?
I'm saying that I wish him best of luck in his game that's coming up versus Poland, and that maybe for his meta, where it's a dragon mirror, maybe Hawk Tattoo is the healthy meta choice there.
Can you imagine that game? Like they've each got 3 Hawk tattoos and favorable ground and things like that.
Three
They're just like
Legos.
pushing and pulling each other's units into the conflict.
To me, it's like thematically, it's like someone's gone for a fist punch, and the other players grabbed their hand and etched a hawk tattoo onto them, and then yanked them in, and then in return, they've gone for a punch, and then they've grabbed their hand and gone, well, your hawk looks kind of okay. I'm going to draw a better one on you now, and it's just gone back and forth for a bit. I mean, that's what's going on, right? Thematically, we're going to look at the game and be like, oh, let's think about the one of Rokugan right now. It's just hawk tattoos left and right. I bet the tattoo shop up in the mountain where people are meditating is doing a roaring trade.
Yes, this is all good
really
as the
should
dragon,
be-
right? Like their economy
Yeah,
is, you know.
There should be another Wily Trader card in Dragon, that's for sure.
Yeah, Kokujin. I mean,
Alright.
Anyway.
the hawk
Salty.
tattoos flying around, it's just the kind of crazed goth orgy that Hitomi had in mind. So, it's just a precursor of great things to come.
Agreed. Right.
Make the world dragon again.
It's been dragging a long time.
They already did. Like, they won Gen Con last year, right? And then now they've redone it so that it's Gen Con again. They won Gen Con again.
I thought
No,
why?
Crane,
Oh, no.
Crane won Gen Con last year.
Oh,
It
did
was
they?
a Crane. Yeah, it was a Crane versus Scorpion match. I watched it.
You were
Oh.
there.
Why did we?
Yeah,
Why did we
but
get the
I
Imperial
witnessed.
favor? Why did we get the Dragon Imperial favor then? I can't remember why we got that. I thought it was because they won
was-
something.
No, there was an internet competition, I think. You know, right in why you like,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
like
Okay.
L5R or
Right.
something.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Well, thank you for listening to the podcast where misinformation is as likely as good information. So apologies to all the listeners there.
Nah, it's great. So Ray, our almost every episode question giver,
He lost that title,
You know-
did he?
you know
Poor
what?
Ray.
today I'm not giving in. Ray, you've asked 2 questions. I know you've said, I've told you, we've spoken to you about this. 1 question a show, mate. All right. So I'm going to look at the 2 questions here and figure out which one's more interesting.
Well, no,
There's
hang
an
on, because
allotment, is there?
spoiler alert, Frotop has 2 questions, and he will get to have answers to both these questions.
Maybe.
So maybe we should give Ray just this this one redemptive moment, and let's just answer both these questions.
All right. Well, we'll just get to. Why don't we just get to Frotop's question? He has asked. Let's have a look. What's he got here?
He's got. Let's answer Frotop's 2 questions.
Okay. He says, "Do I have to be an Aussie to get any of my questions answered on this podcast?" No. All right. Let's
Okay.
go to Ray's
The-
question.
No, the answer to Frotop's question is: if your name doesn't sound like a frozen yogurt place, your question will be answered. That's as
Burn,
straightforward as it's going to be, man. It's as straightforward as we're going to be.
In for a rough time.
All right, let's move on to Mr. Dent. Oh God. All right, so I don't mean oh God because of the question. I mean just there's 2 questions here. I got to choose one of them. I'm going to choose the first one. The second one's awkward to answer. So first one is, who are the biggest winners and losers with the new elemental role? Enzi, throwing it to you, buddy.
With the new elemental role,
Yeah, the
Like,
new roles,
sorry,
second
I don't
roles.
understand the question. Like, oh, the second role. Okay.
Yeah.
Crab's the biggest loser.
I second the motion.
Yeah. I know Glen will third the motion, that's for sure.
Sorry, what clan are we talking about right now?
Crab, Seeker of Earth.
No, wait, no, what clan are we talking about?
Okay.
That clan doesn't exist right now, mate.
Oh,
Not
the
a clan.
crab, they don't exist right now. Okay.
Wow, that is a lot of soul.
Wow.
So much salt, it's
clan
birds
who I
away the
think
clan.
got off best. Probably Unicorn. I feel like getting Feast or Famine is really helpful for them. And just being able to, like, you go into Unicorn's row now, and it is actually fairly painful, whereas before it just didn't feel like anything. So I'd say Unicorn actually, despite being the only one to go for 2 keepers, which, you know, on paper you might say, oh, that's a bit bold. I think getting that fire roll was really helpful for them.
Yeah. All right. Merlin?
Clearly, Crab, the clan that does not exist, the clan that formerly known as the Crab, probably got the worst role. But I actually think maybe Scorpion. I feel like when the Scorpion pack comes out, that, like, whenever the Scorpion do anything, their goals are not always immediately obvious, right? So I feel like this role is like, what's up with that? And we're going to find out when the Scorpion pack hits that actually it's going to just turn on a whole bunch of shit, and we're going to be in a whole world of Scorpion pain. I think they got the best.
I'm seriously feeling like there's going to be a lot of Seeker and water roll only cards to Scorpion in this Scorpion pack. I'm not as confident as you. What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, I think Crab only lost not because it was a Seeker roll, but just because it was Earth again. I think if Crab had got Seeker of Fire or Seeker of water, even, it would have been okay, but or Void. But it just feels so bad. I don't really have words anymore. I just kind of am so deflated by the fact that my favorite clan doesn't really have a space right now. But I think clearly the biggest winner. I would agree with Merlin. I think the Earth combined with the Keeper aspect will make it quite strong moving into the Shinobi deck. Although it is unfortunate because I feel like Seeker would still be really strong with Pathfinder's Blades as an aggressive deck. But man, being able to play Discouraging Pursuit onto the little 2-coster and have a 7 military point swing is incredible.
Oh,
so
it's beautiful.
Like, I'm all about value. Like, I love value in card games, and to me that's such great value. So
all right.
Yeah.
So we've got Edwin Pierce who
Thanks,
asks in stereo, who is your hot pick to win the L5R World Cup? Merlin, who's going to win?
The World Cup? My God. I'm torn between USA and Wales.
Oh,
but
I'm deeply cut.
I know you are.
On behalf of Enzi and Bertie and myself, so cut.
You know, there's a lot of people on here that I feel like they're sort of jumping their clan. I just noticed that Steelfair is playing Dragon.
Oh, really?
Oh, so many disappointments. Anyway.
Okay.
But I did answer last week who I want to win, which I want to be. I thought Greece only had one thing in, but Greece or Cyprus.
Yeah, I think they're both Greece and Cyprus are definitely up there on my list of countries that are going to do very well. Enzi, do you have a thought?
Yeah. Well, I like Canada, to be honest.
Pulling for the Canucks.
Like I have to say that. Yeah. But I think if England makes it through them, I think England I like them having a unicorn in their rank. I think that may give some people fit.
Action Johnny, yeah.
There's just so many good players, right? Now I'm looking at the France team now. I'm going, oh, maybe the French, they could do it. They've done it once before. Yeah.
I'm feeling really deflated that you guys all. There's like no faith for the Australian team. Like, for the Australian
Dude, if you were on it, totally, right? If you were on the team, but you're not on the team, so I can't. How can I endorse the team?
I think it's the Australia way to not barrack for ourselves. We've always got to pick on our mates.
That's true.
Jump on your mates.
Look, we hate tall puppy syndrome, so... Yeah. I mean, you know, is there any chance I can pull a leadership coup and get onto the team? Can I pull a circle?
Yeah. And that's the Australian way of life, mate. You know, look, KP's the sub. Start there, work your way up.
No, I love KP. He can stay.
Super sub KP.
I actually think I really would like the Greek seeing. I'd love that to be recognized on the world stage, to be honest. Just seeing people play slightly more unconventional decks and prove that they're as viable as what we consider the most consistent or competitive style of decks. It'd be great to see.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I hope the Greeks win. If it can't be us, give it to them.
Yeah,
you know, that unconventional decks. That's what I'm all about. So.
Absolutely. So, last question I wanted us to cover. A really interesting one from honorary Western roller Nathan, who's joined us a few times on the podcast, and I'm sure he will join us at some point in the future there. So, you guys might have read that fiction. We covered it on a few episodes ago, where we discovered that the Emperor is about to retire, and he has asked the Honourable Lakota Toreadory, the Emerald Champion of Rokugan, to write a scroll which will become an edict, an imperial edict, which will let the rest of the Empire know that the Emperor is abdicating, and his second son is going to... he's almost going to take the throne. He's going to be the heir. Name is the heir, and Bayushi Shoji will be the regent. Now, the Emperor is putting a lot of trust into Toreadory, and on what he's actually going to write in that scroll. Emperor can't write it himself. He's blind, not very good with the pen anymore. So Nathan asks, what is the contents of that scroll? What's Toreadory actually going to write? Is he just going to be straight down the line, or is he going to come up with some bullshit? You know, anyone got any thoughts on what Toreadory might actually do? Is he just an honourable fellow, or is he going to try and screw over Shoju? What's he going to do?
I feel like Totori's the Ned Stark of Pondering. He's gonna do the right thing.
You sound like a robot, Glen. Unfortunately, but I think he is the Ned Stark of Rokugan.
Yeah, I don't.
Can we put a
think
beat to
Toreadory
this? Can you
dies,
dance to this?
So that's why he can't be the Ned Stark of Rokugan.
Because why? Sorry, Nancy?
Because he doesn't die.
No, what?
You're not going to kill Toreadory off.
They'll kill him and he'll just keep coming back to life, right? I think that's the dude. That's the deal.
Well,
You're talking about Glen or
Toreadory?
Yeah. and we're talking about Glen's internet connection.
What is dead may never die. It's Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Brilliant. His new branding.
Hey, speaking
No,
of Game of Thrones,
Thrones Nationals is up, so that's why.
Yeah.
Speaking of Game
go
of...
ahead, Merlin. What are you saying?
Well, you got to teach me how to play this game, actually, right?
Oh yeah, I want some prize wheel.
Yeah, I need you got to build me the deck, right? That it has exactly one trick in it that I can go 6-0 with, and just get my prize tickets.
Well, actually, I mean, we can quickly discuss Game of Thrones on an L5R podcast, because in the interview that I mentioned earlier,
I don't think Glenn would like it.
No, Tyler was asked if they considered bringing the starter decks for Game of Thrones, which they've recently brought in. which has cards from all 4 current cycles.
Oh, that's a cool
as well
idea.
As 4 sets. And they've made fully functional decks that maybe not be tier 1, but give you a really good idea of what each faction does, so that you can get into the game for just $25 Australian.
I think that is an amazing idea.
They asked, what did you think about if you could do that to L5R? And he basically was talking about how he thought about how to try and form decks from 2 cores and try and convey theme and get new players into the game. And so, maybe down the road they'll do the same thing for L5R, which would be really great because in both cases, lowering the barrier to entry just means that you can get more people into the game. And like we're talking about the lore here, if you can get people in based on right now, the Emperor is about to abdicate the throne, and there's a lot of political complications going on, and there's some, sinister organizations that work, but we don't really know what they are. It's really interesting. What clan do you want to play? They're like, oh, what does this clan do? You just go, well, you can be sneaky, you can be honorable, you can be the stoic ones, and then you can just get players in from that point on and have a great time.
What do you think about?
Yeah, it'd be great to get in.
What do you think about the idea of FFG pulling a Lord Soth? Lord Soth was like this dude who was in Forgotten Realms and Dragonlance, and I think he actually may have appeared in Raven. I can't remember whatever it was. The old D&D settings. The idea that maybe if there was in the next set, right? You saw a card who was an unaligned Shigenja called Beric Dondarrion, right? Would that be cool?
Actually take
in
a character
L5R
from Game of Thrones and put it into L5R.
Yeah, like Beric Dondarrion. He turns out he's he's I don't know where Rockigan exists in this, in relation to Westeros.
He just wanders in from the Burning Sands. He's like, what's over here?
Yeah. And then he raises Toreadory from the dead when he will presumably die. I do think Toreadory's going to die, right?
If we want a multiverse, I think we should just wait until FFG buys the Marvel license, and then we can play. Then you can play in that universe. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd say the lore is really interesting. I haven't read as much as I wish I had, and I guess it's a good shout out to the new RPG book, which offers a lot of depth into the lore as well. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting if Toreadory writes what is meant to be written, or if he changes it, or if he writes the right thing, but then someone switches the scrolls. There's lots of ways that they can take it. I'm actually more interested to see where the murder investigation goes from Last Worlds. I feel like that still hasn't been resolved. I think I've come to accept that, just like waiting for the 6th book of Game of Thrones, that the answers to these questions in the L5R lore might take years to get answers, and I'm just becoming to accept that's the way it goes.
So what do we think? I picked up the beautiful beginner's copy of the L5R role-playing game, and it gives you a bunch of components in there, and one of them is this beautiful looking map, this glorious, very detailed map, which is in my hands at the moment. I'm looking at the Unicorn Lands, so it's a map of Rockigan, right? Unicorn Lands up north, they're west of the Dragonlands, right? Right on the very, very western tip, there's a place called Khan Bulak. What do you reckon? Could that be the tipping point? Can we see some horse dudes from Essos or wherever the hell they are? I don't know. I'm just excited. I'd love to see a crossover, but I'm like that.
I don't know, man. I think what we need to do is make L5R much more popular. We need to get this right into the popular culture, and then they'll do things like, I don't know, World of Warcraft crossover with Legend of Five Rings. We'll start to see Thrall and all that shit in there. That'll be great.
I think
and
once your IP is final, you'll make it to cinematic universe standard.
All right. Well, let's quickly wrap this up, right? Toreadory.
Yes.
Who's the actor who's going to play Toreadory? Oh my.
Tom Hardy.
Tom
No,
Hardy.
wait, I whitewashed. I apologize to everyone. I just whitewashed straight away.
You get yourself in trouble now.
I feel like it's because they whitewash the characters all the time.
They actually think the art does whitewash.
Yeah, that's just me thinking of the card. I actually think I would prefer an all Japanese cast, to be honest.
Yeah. Sweet.
I'd actually much prefer that. And they can speak whatever language they're meant to speak.
Sweet. Well,
yeah, please, no Tom Hardy and no whitewashing would be all I'd say.
Love it. Awesome. Well, on that politically correct note, let's wrap up the podcast. Yeah.
Hey, blame the card out. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let's not make too many comments there. We might get ourselves in trouble. But yeah, I love all the art. The art's amazing. Yeah, fantastic. And we'll see you all soon. Any final thoughts, Merlin?
I wouldn't mind doing a couple of shout-outs. I want to do a shout-out to the organisers of the World Cup. I think they're doing a great job. I can't wait to see more games. Fucking love it. And I want to give a shout-out to Team Covenant for those rings that they did. I just recently acquired a set of those. They're amazing. You should get them. Dear listener, go get those rings.
Cool. Enzi?
I'd like to give a shout-out to our listeners. This could be our last cast, if we are the first L5R cast banned from iTunes. So, it's political incorrected.
Glen?
Just want to give shout out to all the players out there.
This is what I love about our podcast. Yep. We're super lo-fi. Let's just give it a shout out to all the players. Don't know,
the internet in Australia is like in a third world country. It's really really bad. And
Glen is in a car driving from outback Australia into like suburban Australia. Yeah. So he's on
like 2G, right?
Hey, you there, Glen? It looks like you were talking again. No.
Really, just encourage everyone to, actually also a broadcast from the outback here. And just shout out to Bert. Hope he gets back into the game soon. We need you for the World Cup, buddy. So,
right.
Get back in.
Come back, Bert. We love you. On that note, we've been Hidden City Roller type people, and you are people who play a children's card game. See you all later.